Hi everyone, it's Christy. Welcome back to another episode of Junk Journal January 2025. Today we are up to day 24 and the prompt for today is, where is it? Line. Okay, so grabbed a couple of pens, my ruler in case I need it, and let's get started. As I was flipping through my journal, I initially grabbed all my pens because I have a lot of pens that are in the same color scheme that I am using here. But as I was looking at it, I realized, there's enough colors going on to the page that what the pages actually need is some black to provide some grounding and structure. So we're going to add some black lines to create that grounding and structure that we need. But to start with, I'm going to start with this back page and just, I'll start with just my Sharpie pen and my ruler. I'm going to just make some lines on this page, just writing lines, okay? So I can just come through here and just, depends on how close together you want your lines. I'm just using a line on the ruler to provide even spacing. See, what I'm doing is there's a line on the ruler and I'm just lining up that line with whatever the last line I drew. That way they all come out with even spacing. And that's why I'm starting from the bottom instead of the top, because I can stack the lines that way. See how it's going? And it goes pretty quickly. Adding lines to a page is not a major undertaking. It just takes a couple minutes. Yeah, I might leave that way for now. Okay, that gives me space for a title or little graphic or whatever I want there. Okay, let's go back to the front then. Okay, so as I was talking about, there's kind of a lot going on with the pages, and I thought just adding a line right here, and I might even do, let me experiment with something else before I do that. I had, this page was kind of, just the graphic on the side, and I thought, well, this little space could use some accent. So I'm gonna just draw some faux stitching, and that's another line that you can do, just some simple drawing and just making little dash marks. I know my hand is in the way, but you'll see it in just a moment as my hand gets out of the way. You can make short lines. I'm making kind of medium lines, a little bit on the large side because I have a long way to go down the page. And this is just a fun way to add a little bit of decoration to a page without bulking it up. And if I was doing a larger journal, I would definitely do this sort of thing on selected pages throughout the journal, just to dress it up a little bit. And we'll even do the top. Okay, now I'll hold it up closer so you can see. So I just made dotted lines all the way around that space, and it just gives it a little bit of a border, but it's just a little bit more fun than just drawing a solid line. Just a different look. I'm just trying to give you some different looks. Now another thing you can do, I have a couple ideas. I'm trying to decide which to do. I was thinking about making a dotted line around here, Or I could just make maybe a double line. See, just a double line like that. We'll set that up, break that in half real nicely. Just gives the eye that separation that it's looking for, to help the brain understand that this is like maybe a heading and what below it is, you know, the details or something. Yeah. I could come down here even and do a bottom line. Maybe I'll do that. My lines might go a little wonky a little bit because I'm got different textures, bulky items on the pages below them. Okay, so that actually sets off a nice, I'm going to stand up so I can show you a little bit better. That sets a nice little writing area there. So you got the information at the top of the page, but the eye clearly sees. See what a difference that makes? As opposed to just too much white area, too much white space. The eye doesn't really know where it's supposed to be looking. And just adding some lines creates structure on the page. Okay? Big difference, isn't there? Look at that. You know, another thing I can do as far as making lines, and I maybe should use a thicker marker than this, is I could trace around, I could make a little box around these, I printed and glued on copies of the video cover. And I could make that pop out a little bit by more or less tracing around it, but I'm leaving a little bit of white space to give it a white frame. That's something else you can do. See? I added a frame around it, but I just left a sliver, you know, like a millimeter around it in white, just to give it a bit of a frame. And you can see with both of those pictures beside each other how this one is a little, just, it stands out more, doesn't it? So that's another thing you can do to add a little spice to your journal in a way that doesn't bulk it up. Very simple to add. Just a pen and a ruler. And go around and add a lot of, just making straight lines. That's all I'm doing. Just, you don't have to have any art skills, and I just made a little bit of a boo-boo there, but that's okay. It just shows that it's handmade, right? All right, so moving right along. Let me see what else I can come up with here. I don't want you to watch, you don't necessarily have to watch me do a whole bunch of the same thing, but let's see if something else jumps out at me. Come on. I didn't plan this out too much in advance. I thought I would mostly just make the lines, but I'm just searching for anything different that might strike me. Oh, I know what's another one we can do, a different variation. I showed you the faux stitching, but there's more than one kind of stitching. There's cross stitching, and so on a page like this, you can just, I'll start down here, make X's coming down the page. Like that. So that's just another, and again, that's just a a bunch of straight lines. Just making little accents and so forth. Just add a little bit of eye appeal in different ways. So that gives you some ideas. I'm not going to waste your time by doing this on all the different pages when you get the idea of what I'm going for here. But just simple lines can really give definition to a page, and it really doesn't take very long, and it certainly doesn't take much skill to be able to do this. So experiment with adding some lines to your journal and see what that does for you. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. God bless you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.